And welcome back to In the Cage with Bards here on nextsportsr.com. And joining us now, we have a little bit of history. The first ever woman to win the Ultimate Fighter. She accomplished it during season 18. And what an accomplishment it was. The one they call the Venezuelan vixen, Julianna Pena, on the program. How are you doing today, Julianna?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing excellent. So happy to have you on the program. And congratulations again for making history. Has the enormity of what you have been able to accomplish, has that really sunk in yet for you?
I don't think so, not yet.
No, do you still feel that the same way you felt going into the tournament, or have you had time to reflect and look back and just pat yourself on the back, so to speak?
Well, I've been working the last few days, so that still hasn't made it set in quite as real as it should, maybe. So I still feel like it's normal life. I'm serving tables and nobody's recognizing me, so I wonder sometimes. But so it's sinking in slowly but surely. Every day is a new progression.
So winning the Ultimate Fighter, does that even help you as far as tips go then if you're serving tables?
I think so. I think that they're excited to have a fighter serve on them.
Excellent. Well, at least you got that going for you. How would you describe your time in the Ultimate Fighter house? Because we've had a lot of people who have competed on that show, on this show, and for some of them, they enjoy it because they get to focus on nothing but training, but some people tend to go a little bit stir-crazy. How did it affect you?
I definitely was going stir-crazy the first couple of weeks. I wasn't used to being cut off from my family and friends and just not knowing what everybody was doing back at home.
Yeah.
That kind of made me a little crazy, but otherwise, yeah, like you said, you don't ever get a chance to just focus 110% on yourself as a fighter and get to train with the best people in the world and live in a mansion rent-free and eat fresh halibut every day. So overall, I would say it was a good experience.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. How did you deal with the other personalities in the house? Because we had Sarah Moras, we've had Louis Facette and Josh Hill all on giving their thoughts on the Ultimate Fighter house. And they all mentioned that, that there seemed to be a little bit of a tension sometimes between you and the rest of the fighters in the house.
Yeah, that's the way that it was on the show. They didn't really like me that much. And, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody has an opinion. And so...
Well, what do you think it was about you specifically that might have rubbed them the wrong way?
Oh, I just think that they weren't used to my personality type. I'm kind of a brash person. I kind of don't really have a filter at times, and I kind of just say what's on my mind right away. I kind of have a brutally honest type personality that some people can't handle, and some people can find that annoying, and some people can appreciate, my personality for the way that it is, and I just don't think that they understood me as a person, and vice versa. And I think that the tensions are automatically higher just because you are living in a house with a bunch of strangers, and you gotta knock the person's head off to the left of you and then knock the person's head off to the right of you. So, it's obviously very tense, and, you're looking at everybody as competition. And so, you make your clicks and you start pointing out things or, seeing things that your opponents are doing wrong, and then you just kind of magnify that just because you're trying to, find reasons just to hate this person or try to feel like you can be more powerful against them if you have more people to gang up on them with you. So I don't know, I just think that it was just kind of a weird scenario, and they had to hate on somebody, somebody had to be pigeonholed in that house, and so I think maybe I was that person, and that's fine. I'll play that role. I won the contract, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and you gained a lot of attention in knocking off Shayna Baszler, who is favored by a lot of people to win the entire show. How did that boost your confidence going through the rest of the tournament?
It definitely boosted my confidence to be taking out, a top-ranked fighter. I think my confidence was first boosted when I had beat the first girl to get inside the house because I was coming off of 2 losses. So that first initial win was definitely set in my mind as, okay, I can win this whole competition. But taking out Shayna was definitely the icing on the cake. You know, I wanted to beat her, and I wanted to take out, you know, that girl that everybody just saw as, you know, winning the whole show and her being so overrated, and so I just wanted to show how overrated she was.
Do you feel Shayna Baszler is overrated? Because she does have a lot of history and a lot of great fights behind her.
She's definitely overrated.
Wow. I guess going through and getting the win showed your skills. Shayna Baszler is looking for a rematch, though. I just want to read some comments to you from her and get your reaction. She says that the initial thing I felt when Julianna won was, yes, now will be sweet justice when we rematch because it's a jump back. It's not like I have to beat this person and this person and this person. If Rakosi had won, realistically, I need a rematch with Julianna to fight Rakosi in order for people to understand who the Queen of Spades is. But now it's like, screw it. I can just jump straight to the top and get that rematch, and it's all good. It's good for me career-wise. I guess that she won. How do you respond to that?
I think that she's finding every excuse to stay relevant because she lost and she wasn't planning on losing. She thought she was going to take the whole show, and that didn't work out for her, so she's just running her mouth, just trying to stay relevant and just trying to get people to remember her, and that's fine. If that's the way that she wants to play it, that's fine, but you know, I'm not taking any steps back as far as fighting people in the UFC. I won my contract, and I plan on moving forward and not taking steps backwards.
So you don't have any interest at this time with a rematch with Shayna?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Has UFC been in contact with you about a potential opponent, a potential next fight?
No.
No? Do you have anyone in your radar?
No.
All right, let me throw someone out there. What about a trilogy with Sarah Cheesecake Moras? You both split 1 win apiece now. A trilogy seems like a logical progression.
Possibly, but like I said, I won the whole competition. I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm just trying to go forward.
All right, fair enough. And you had a very impressive win over Jessica Rakosi in the finals. Just absolutely steamrolled her. Did that fight pretty much go according to your plan exactly?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Did you think the fight should have been stopped sooner than with 1 second left in the round? Because you were really putting a beating on her.
Yes and no. You know, if it were me, I probably would have wished that I would have kept moving for 1 more second. But the referee's job is to protect the fighter and to make sure that the fighter's not taking unnecessary blows and unnecessary shots, and so they're not really paying attention to the clock, and they're more so looking at the damage the fighter's taking. So, you know, I see how he could stop that. You know, you got to keep moving, and she was kind of turtling up and covering up and making it look like she wanted to be out of there. So, I think it was a good call too.
Yeah, I agree on that one. What was going through your mind when they raised your hand and they announced that you are the winner of The Ultimate Fighter Season 18?
I was stoked. I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. And then, like, somebody in the cage had told me literally right after that Paul Walker had just passed away. And so that kind of just, like, it went from so high of an extreme of winning and then just hearing that, and that just kind of, like, killed it for me. And then they're like, well, don't pay attention to that. Be happy. Excuse you. It just won. And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Back to reality. And so, I mean, I was very ecstatic, though.
And as well, you should be. And Paul Walker's death hit a lot of people hard. Hit Ronda Rousey hard as well. And she was a little off her game that night as well, of course, to her co-star in Fast and the Furious. And you've made some comments about Ronda Rousey that have been a little bit less than flattering, calling her pretentious and a spoiled brat. Is that something that you're saying to build up hype for a potential showdown with Rousey, or is this just how you see it?
No, like I was talking about before with my personality type and just saying things a little straightforward and just kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve. That's just the way that I felt personally, and yeah.
What is it about Ronda that rubs you the wrong way?
You know, I don't even care to answer that question. I've talked about it enough, and I just don't really feel like it's, you know, worth any more, you know, worth any, it doesn't matter, you know, so who cares?
All right. How far away do you think you are from a potential showdown with Ronda Rousey or Miesha Tate if she wins on December 28th?
I don't know. That's not my decision, and I would I'll leave it into the hands of the bosses, you know, the matchmakers and Dana White and stuff like that. So.
All right, we'll have to see how that shakes out. I also wanted to get your thoughts on the UFC's announcement that they are adding a 115-pound division for the women, and that Season 20 of The Ultimate Fighter will be an entire women cast. Do you think that the success of the women on Season 18 helped lay the groundwork for that announcement?
Absolutely, yeah. If I wasn't for Season 18, then, you know, girls on Season 20 wouldn't, you know, be able to have like a blueprint for how it was going to be in the house and stuff like that, and that national exposure kind of thing. And also it's good for them because the network is brand new, and so now that it's been out there for a while, it'll probably be easier to promote for the next season. So it's definitely going to be a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Julianna. I really appreciate you taking the time today. One last question for you, and it's something that we ask everyone that comes on the program. If you had the opportunity, you get to punch one person from any walk of life right in the face, who would it be?
You.
I get that a lot. Why is that?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really have no idea. I can't even think of an answer for that, but maybe next time you can get back to me.
All right, we'll do that. Thanks again, Julianna. Just remind people where they can find you in the social media universe, and any other thank yous or shout outs you want to give. This is your time.
All right. Follow me on Twitter at Venezuelan Vixen. I have a fan page on Facebook, Julianna, the Venezuelan Vixen Pena. Instagram and Snapchat, all that stuff is at Venezuelan Vixen. And my sponsors, I want to give a huge shout out to Rhino Rush, Jim Hansen, Discount Lumber, Spike Phillies, and more. And I think that's it.
Excellent. Julianna Pena here on In the Cage with Bards on nextsportsart.com, and we'll be back with more MMA action right after this.